am Barry Cassidy, a community organizer and economic development consultant living in Philadelphia. From March 2020 to May 2021, my wife and I isolated in our home and watched the events take place in cities across America, and we witnessed the destruction of public art. On May 15th, 28 days after my second vaccination, I hit the road traveling across country. The national lockdown was scheduled to end June 15th. These were the last days of lockdown. I traveled south through West Virginia, Memphis, Texas, San Francisco, Seattle, across to Montana, to Chicago, Louisville, and back to Philly. Hotels were very cheap. I had no set schedule or plan. I stopped at different places to compare and contrast the towns and states and how they were faring during the virus. The historic districts got my attention. I took about 7,000 photos across the country which focused on spaces, not people. These videos are not a photographic essay, but more of an economic development, property inventory, and public space evaluation of cities in the last days of lockdown. Although some of the images are provocative, most are documentation of conditions and eerie solitude. There were no traffic on the streets, many of the stores were closed, much of the ground level retail was vacant. There are video links to photos of all 70 of my stops, some longer than others. Specifically, I looked for public art, vacancies and lack of office foot traffic, remaining elements of the protest, and outdoor dining applications. I hit some of the protest hotspots: Del Rio and the border, Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Kenosha, Louisville. Many of the protest communities were boarded and had drawings of artwork on them by protesters. On the Texas border, I saw art exhibits in the middle of nowhere as part of a regional art series. The boards on the retail in Gary, Indiana had been up for years. The town was abandoned and eerie. Sulphur Springs is my favorite place. I interacted with people more in Sulphur Springs than anywhere I visited, and I have included pictures of the cuisine. Thank you for visiting my site, Last Days of Lockdown 2021. Over 80 videos showing conditions at the end of the 2021 lockdown, which I have chronicled for posterity.